both Cody and Christian and Brian, RB3, they were instrumental in the show.
I love anybody who stays consistent and puts themselves out there and spends time creating work that is funny to them.
Cody is honestly one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire existence on this planet. He's a funny dude. He's a good dude. And the same can be said about Brian Perez.
Cobster or Christian Rubalcaba. So good with the dry humor and just like the deadpan.
You know, he became the leader of the Wangers to, you know, what he did and starting that off and being the director and producer that he was, and that's why they're doing as well as they are.
Don't fucking touch it.
I say one of my earliest memories I've ever had when it comes to movies might have been the first time I ever went to the theaters. My family tell me two different things, that my first movie theater experience was either Toy Story or the first Power Rangers.
I've tried to go back to remember what my first movie in a theater was, and I've determined that it was one of two options. It was either The Lost World Jurassic Park or Good Burger. I really hope it was Good Burger, because if that's true, I think that's hilarious.
The first movies I remember watching were like all the Disney movies, obviously like the animated Disney movies, and then all the home videos, like all the Heavyweights and all the Mighty Ducks and like all that. Those probably came out in theaters, but I remember watching them on VHS at home. I took a course like Intro to Movie 101 or whatever at a community college, and we saw Fargo. The way my teacher broke down that movie really showed me a different way of looking at movies.
When it came time for me to graduate and apply for colleges, I applied to so many different film schools, USC, UCLA, Chapman. Didn't get into a single one of them. I did get into Cal State Fullerton, which was interesting, but I only took a couple production classes where the actual making of the films took place, and boy, did I not like any of the stuff that I made there.
What?
He needs our help with class.
Who, Cody? I'm never helping him make a movie again. Are you kidding me, man?
I used the same group of friends as actors. They're not actors, so they didn't turn out well. I didn't have any sort of budget. I just rented whatever camera and lighting equipment I could get from the campus. I didn't really know what I was doing in that front.
I didn't go to film school. I went to Cal State Long Beach to pursue psychology, criminal psychology, because I like to think I'm kind of messed up in the head. Along the way, I discovered YouTube, and I discovered this passion for movies that maybe I think was secretly hiding in there.
I quickly learned that jobs are not easy to come by in the film industry, and I kind of just, kicked the tires for about a year or two, and then I stumbled across the Schmoes Know podcast.
The Schmoes Know movie show.
The Schmoes Know show.
And the rest is history from that point.
So the friendship of the Wangers, I don't even know if I would call it a friendship. God. Mortal enemies?
Oh my God, Brian, come on.
Brian!
I thought mine was
No ice?
You said no ice?
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Does that work?
Put 1 cube in his drink, please.
I met Brian a few months into doing amateur hour films, and he was kind of a dick at first. I said it.
Cody's actually the biggest dick that you've ever met. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I thought Cody didn't like me at first because I knew Christian from Christian's cousin, but then he introduced me to Cody. We were gonna shoot some sketch together, and Cody would not look at me. He would not make eye contact or shake my hand. He would just be like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" So,
yeah, I'd step back a little bit. Just let me be sad for 10 seconds.
So I thought he was big leaguing me, big timing me. He was way too good for all of us, which he still is, but I'm not the dick, he's the dick.
It's okay, champ. It's not your fault.
And so from that, we started Amateur Hour Films, which is just our own little sketch comedy group, because that's what it started off being. It started being sketch comedy videos, and then we eventually got into serious short filmmaking.
And to say what you will about those early videos, man, I love them a lot. I think they have a charm to them. They have a nostalgic value, and they're really fun to watch. They still hold up for the most part. They're really funny.
And then eventually we had Brian come on because we really needed a sound guy. That's all we brought him on for, just to do sound.
So once I came along, I said, hey, I see you guys do sketches. I have a bunch of audio equipment. We can make it sound better. We can put a mic on you. We can do this. We can edit the audio.
That was a time when I think we had more time to manage that. That's why we were able to be so consistent with the videos.
It's tough to be able to try to make stuff on the side when you're out for 8 to 10 hours a day and you try to have some semblance of a life when you get home.
Cody and I came up with a sketch where we were doing the sketch in a library, and we ended up just bailing on that. We got pizza and then we went laser tagging right afterwards. So we wanted to make sure we didn't do that ever again and that we were not wasting our time with one another. So Chet Barney was a really great revival of the things that we wanted to do.
Girl with the dragon tattoo, doesn't make sense. Thor, no. The fucking Furious. Gangbangers 5? What happened to 6? The Founder, McDonald's. Oh, I got a shit again. Second time in a row.
One thing that really struck me was you guys broke the 180 rule almost every time you had the chance to. I don't think there was any lighting, and there was no director credited.
No, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, okay. Easy guy. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, there are 180 rules being broken nonstop, but I think that, when it comes to the sketches, we don't really care that much. Is that bad to say? I'm sure your teacher's gonna love that.
Cody had like a rough outline, and then one day we're like, let's just shoot this thing. We didn't have lights or anything. We're just like, we know the beats that we want to hit, and let's just go for it. And let's just try to make each other laugh.
Yeah, I would say definitely after Chet Barney, we eventually found a good rhythm. It was just a matter of when we can time things out, when we could sit down with each other and go over the script and figure out how we're gonna shoot all these different things. And with the sketches just kept getting easier and easier, and the short films became a lot more elaborate because we were doing a lot more things. We were incorporating other people, not just me, Cody, and Brian shooting these. We had a composer, we had other actors, helping us out with all these different things.
Because we're so amateur, we didn't want to hire actors that were professional. We felt like if they came to a set and we were still kind of learning filmmaking, we would just look foolish trying to direct these polished actors.
Teddy was really cool because that was just our first serious short film that was a direct representation of the script that I wrote.
It's okay, Teddy. Calm down. It's gonna be okay, buddy.
And that was just kind of a weird feeling at first. Me and Brian are trading lines on set, and I was like, I don't know if this is good. Of course, you're insecure about all this stuff, and it doesn't help that I'm acting these lines out at the same time.
Teddy was my first time actually trying to remember lines and trying to recite lines and working off somebody. That was a challenge in itself because I can't look back and watch it because I feel like I didn't do my part on the acting side.
The thing with us, even if it's a super serious short film or a ridiculous sketch, we're always laughing when the camera's not rolling. We're dying.
When it's just Cody and I in a car and we're just cracking each other up, that's the most fun I have, when I'm just being my silly self in the front seat and Cody's just dying laughing in the back.
I remember back when I got engaged, Christian was happy, of course, but he was like, all right, we gotta make as much stuff as possible because we're not gonna be able to hang out anymore. I'm like, that's not gonna happen.
We're not only juggling this thing on the side, but we also have real jobs. We have lives. Some of us have kids. Only one of us has a kid.
Then when I told him I was having a kid, it was the same exact conversation, but magnified. I'm like, no, really, it's gonna be fine. One of these days, I'm gonna have 8 kids and he's gonna be like, I told you so, and we're not gonna be able to hang out anymore. But it's not this day.
Once it does line up and once we do have a set day where it's all right, everyone can come here and we can just shoot this thing at Christian's apartment or at the park or something.
Stage 4 was definitely the hardest thing that we've ever done because the entire short film is all in one take. It took a lot more preparation than anything that we've ever done before.
Rest assured, we are doing everything we can to keep it contained. Effective immediately, I'm ordering a stage 4 lockdown on all inspectors.
And then stage 4, that was just a really rewarding experience because that was the most difficult short film that we've ever made.
And it was just practicing, and even the night of, we were practicing almost to the point where it was getting late. We were practicing so much, and we ended up shooting it like 28 times and only really getting it twice.
The production of that was a huge pain in the ass, but when we got the production aspect of it done, when the edit was finally locked, it was just such a huge relief and a great feeling.
When you see the final product, it's so cool. And yeah, there's like mistakes in it, but you know, how many people get to say they shot a whole short film in one take and didn't die from doing it? So it was cool. Yeah.
If we were a band, all right, I'm gonna say it. This is the obvious answer if you know me.
What band? Metallica? Have you seen Some Kind of Monster documentary? That's us.
I'm almost 100% sure that they both said Blink-182.
Yep, it's Blink-182. That's right, kids.
99% sure that they both said that.
I don't know if there was like a specific band that I could point out to.
I'd say me and Christian are Mark and Tom. I don't know who's who. Don't look into that too much. But I know for a fact Brian's Travis, just the quiet drummer who doesn't really seem to care as much about this, but he's really talented and just kind of out of nowhere, people are like, oh, that guy's great. He's Travis.
I would say that we're like the band Green Day. We each have our signature thing that we're good at, and I feel like with Green Day, everyone in the band shines separately.
You know, when you're balancing that and then you're on a podcast and everyone's making fun of each other every single week, that's a sort of balance that we have to find.
Yeah, I feel like we'd be like Green Day because we all add our separate things and make this one thing whole as Wangers.
I don't know which one's talking about aliens, guys. I don't know where to go with that. Blink-182, check them out. I really do believe that if you have any sort of talent, the only way to get better is to keep doing things. I think of it like a muscle. You have to keep, I don't know, me of all people talking about muscles is hilarious.
Anyone can pick up a camera and take a photo or make something look good, but like your signature style is what separates you from everybody else.
And the second that we stop is what I'm scared of the most, because if you take too long of a break, I do think you lose it a little bit. You gotta keep pushing and keeping the wheels spinning.
Well, since everything's on lockdown right now in quarantine, we're working on something that we're able to work on from home that doesn't really require video settings or video stuff.
We want to just expand that and better ourselves and, you know, hopefully prepare ourselves for something in the near future where we could shoot something like a feature.
So I feel like we're just hitting our stride now, so to stop now would just feel like we wasted the last pretty much 4 years.
It makes all the work that you put into it so much more satisfying. And then once you finish that, you release it, people see it, and you just start over again. And that's when it gets really, really exciting. Yeah. For you, even though we don't really need it.